Well, she survived Auschwitz and was nearly led to gas chambers by one of Nazi Germany's most notorious killers, Josef Mengele.
Well, by April 1945, Helen Borenstein says she was just days from death. One of over 50,000 prisoners at Nazi Germany's Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. She was one of many who went days and days without food or water.
So tonight, on the 74th anniversary of the Allies' liberation of the camp, she speaks exclusively from her home in Sarasota to Fox 13's Jennifer Holton.
74 years ago today, she was defined by only a number.
A21498.
Her body was covered in lice and she hadn't eaten in days.
I weighed maybe 65 pounds.
And she says if the Allies came a few days later, she would have been dead.
I wouldn't be alive. Nobody would be alive.
It was April 1945, and 22-year-old Helen Borenstein had spent the last several weeks at Bergen-Belsen, one of the Nazis' most notorious death camps in northern Germany. It was in these barracks where Anne Frank died. Helen was there at the same time.
It was very hard. We had no food. They didn't feed us.
The Polish Jew had survived 6 other concentration camps, including Auschwitz. Her older sisters were sent to other camps, her father to work hard labor. She remembers the last time she saw her mother.
We were standing by a fountain, and she said, I think this is it. We won't see each other anymore.
Not long after, her mother was taken to the gas chambers.
I never forget the screams what we heard. It was, I don't know how far it was, but the whole night, such a terrible screams.
By the time Borenstein arrived at Belsen, prisoner numbers had soared to 22,000, and hundreds were dying every day from typhus and dysentery, and food was scarce. She hid what bread she had.
I carried the food underneath my jacket.
And slept on the cold barracks floor.
On the ground. There was a sweet little girl laying. I think she had typhus. When I woke up, she was dead. She had a good coat. I took her coat. I took off her coat, to have it for myself.
The dead were not carried away anymore. Instead, they were piled high in the tens of thousands.
There were mountains as high as the 4th floor.
And then came the morning of April 15th. Someone came running into her barracks shouting that the Germans were no longer in their watchtowers.
I ran out and I see everybody runs in a building, a big building, and inside there were potatoes. And if you saw a wild animal, that's how the people ran and grabbed potatoes with the skin, with the mess outside, and they were eating. Everybody was starved.
The British soldiers had arrived to liberate the camp. Borenstein was clinging to life.
I was skinny that you didn't need to make an X-ray. You could see everything through.
Decades later, she never removed Auschwitz tattoo. It inked her place in one of the 20th century's most defining events. But this survivor refuses to let it define her. In Sarasota, Jennifer Holton, Fox 13 News.
We still appreciate her sharing that story. You know, when the British liberated Bergen-Belsen, they found around 60,000 prisoners in the camp. Most of them were very, very sick. More than 13,000 former prisoners died from liberation from their illnesses after they were liberated. And British forces actually burned down the entire camp to prevent the spread of typhus. Borenstein was there to witness that as well. If you'd like to hear more of her story, go to fox13news.com. Look under Seen on TV.